Welcome everyone to this video where I will be covering how effective Changli's weapon will be on other characters and just about its longevity in the game and how universal it will be. I'm going to make another video tomorrow about jinhsi's weapon. So if you're interested, feel free to subscribe or like or whatever. But starting with this video, let's see. These are all the stats the weapon has on it. And basically, you're getting free 8% crit. You need to hurt people to get stacks. Using skills will give more stacks. These stacks give skill damage bonus, and at maximum stacks, you can get up to 56% skill bonus. And also at maximum stacks, it starts a timer. When that timer is done, you lose all stacks, and you need to start from the beginning, which is hitting bad guys. So here are all the offenders. These are all the people that can use this weapon. I want to show you everyone that can use it and how effectively they are going to use it. These are all these stats here are from Pride Win, by the way, and it's basically the percentage of damage this character does in a DPS cycle that is through its skill. The reason I chose skill is because this weapon is all about buffing up skill. Okay, it's going to buff up skill more than anything else, and it's to the point where the standard katana is almost better than this one at basic attack and ult, using ultimate abilities. I don't have a number for Changli because she's not out yet, but I think she's going to be higher than Spectro Rover as well. Here's just a quick little example, right? I'm showing you some stats over here for this weapon and stats over here for this weapon. Take in mind, I'm getting a total of 90 crit value for all my substats. It's equal for both weapons. This leads me to a 60 over 120 on this weapon and a 68 over 136 on this weapon. This is including Spectro Rover's constellation that gives 15% crit rate. You will see that the free-to-play weapon is actually doing more damage on basic attacks and ultimates. It's by a very small amount, but it is still up. Now, our first offender is Changli, and let's take a look, and you'll see that she's actually doing more damage everywhere with this weapon. Despite what I said, her basics and ult should be doing more with this. I feel like now the difference where this comes from actually is I believe base attack. Right? The higher a character that can get their base attack, the better this weapon will be overall everywhere because of its 36% attack bonus that it has as a main stat. But with that being said, I'll show you how I ran this through, and then I'll pick up the pace. So I took the motion value of the skill, and I multiplied that by the attack, which is over here. And that went through the crit value, which is a lot lower than this one because this one has no crit. This goes through the defense. It's not the 50% because Changli shreds defense. And this goes through the damage bonus, 2.76, which is higher than everything else because this weapon does give skill. And that goes through the enemy's resistance to elements, which is 10%. You can see basics and ult are doing barely any damage less than this, but yeah, that's everything you need to see there. For the stats, weapon on the left is going to use numbers on the left, right? So the crit rate on the left, crit damage on the left, 50 plus the 12, which is on the left. It's taking all the numbers on the left. I've also just assumed that I always have a 100% damage bonus to elements, and I'm getting 20% from substats to basic, skill, ult. Spectro Rover has a lot less base attack, 963, and that is why I believe the basic attacks on this weapon are actually doing better. The skill is still outperforming at 25.1, and you'll notice a trend of 25%, 24%. Here on Spectro Rover, you can see that Spectro Rover is also taking advantage of a very high base attack and outperforming in every case. Now, I don't think this is worth it. Still, I don't think this is doing enough damage to be worth it. Because remember, this weapon also gives energy recharge, which will not show up on damage charts. That's going to go fit in comfort. And you'll see that this number, 22.5, is also lower than every other weapon. I'll talk about it more in summary though. Danjin has very low base attack, so she's getting more advantage. Take more advantage of a weapon that doesn't have an attack main stat. So basics and ult doing more. Well, ulti still will be carried, or not ulti, skill will still be carried by this weapon. I just took one tick of skill. She had her skills all hit multiple times, so I just took one tick. And whatever's gonna buff one time, it'll buff the whole thing too. So don't don't worry about that. And here's Sanhua, low base attack again, so even more advantage on basics and ult. And here's a summary. You'll see that all throughout the boards, all their ults, their skills, I mean, do about 25% less damage, except for Spectro Rover. And Spectro Rover is different is because Spectro's Constellation 1 gives 30% skill damage bonus. And what we're seeing right here is diminishing returns. You're getting too much damage bonus and you're not getting the same damage buff as everyone else is because you already have enough damage bonus. But this is supposed to be a minus here, right? This weapon is doing it's doing less damage all throughout Changli's kit. It's doing less throughout Spectro Rover's kit because of their high base attack. But everywhere else, basic and alt, every other character, the standard weapon is doing more, while their skills are still doing less. I hope I could make this clear enough for you guys to understand. These numbers also are not all set in stone, right? More base attack a character has in the future, the better it's going to be with this weapon. But overall, I don't think this weapon is making a big enough bonus for how much you have to pull to get it. 80 pulls. If the character is very heavy skill dependent, maybe you can make an argument, but I would still just use this weapon because overall you're going to get your auto attacks and your ultimate are going to get a benefit from this weapon if your base attack isn't too high, and even if it isn't, it's still going to be so small under that it's not going to matter. And then for my thoughts on if this weapon is universal, I do not think it's universal at all. I think it's super okay at best. And the way it looks makes it kind of seem like it's going to go on the standard banner with how poor it's performing. But once again, if you do like these characters and you really want your skills to hit as hard as possible, this is your best choice. Yeah, with that being said, I hope I could have provided enough information so you guys can make a judgment of your own. And yeah, peace out.